What's going on, everyone? So, I know what you did last summer. 2025 is right around the corner, and I'm excited for it, as I'm sure many of you are. But um, thanks to Production Weekly, we got a list of horror films that are in the works that will be coming out in the foreseeable future. And you have several sequels from like Scream 8 to I'll Never Forget What You Did Last Summer, which is going to be a follow up film to this installment, which I think is very interesting that they already have a sequel in the works, which leads me to believe that there is all kinds of things that could potentially happen, from obviously a cliffhanger to mystery or big establishment setup that's going to lead into the upcoming sequel to this sequel, right? But one of the big things in general is the killer, right? So now that we know that there's going to be a sequel to this upcoming installment, does this mean that the killer is going to survive? That our group of characters are not going to have success in taking out said killer? And that ends up leaking into the next installment. Now, they basically, I mean, you could argue that that's what happened in the original I Know What You Did Last Summer, right? Because like at the end, they don't find the body. What's the rule in order? If you don't find the body, then the killer's not dead, right? And so you had where it was just his hand with the hook in the net area that was caught, and then no body found, and then fast forward to I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and then you find out that he's still alive, right? And they didn't even really keep that a secret. Like that was kind of the thing. Big twist in the sequel was the brother, right? So was that like, oh, or not brother, sorry, son, the son, right? Where it was like, oh, I'm Ben's son, right? Will Benson. That was the whole kind of twist in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, right? So to me, I could see something where we get, because it looks like we're getting the same type of plot where a group of kids end up hitting somebody, causing an accident, and kind of leave them for dead, right? And so the thought is that like, okay, well that means that that person's going to survive, or maybe it's a family member or whatever, right? Could be a million things. But do we get something to where the killer is ends up surviving at the end? Do we know about it? Is it something that we see happening, or is there somebody in the woodworks, right? That is like, so let's say, they kill a guy, they kill a kid, right? The parents come to take out the people, right? And we think, and we get revealed that like, oh, there's two killers. Oh my gosh, right? Like, oh, it's a husband and wife, father and mother, right? And then the cast, the main characters end up taking that person out or those people out, and then we find out that he also has a brother, right? Whether we see it or, we get a visual of the hookman, or, maybe somebody just goes like, wait, didn't he have a brother type thing? And then it's like, oh, like now you have like the setup and you kind of have an idea like, okay, so the brother is going to be the killer in the upcoming, sequel, right? Like the other side of that is like, do you even really want to know either way, right? Do they go an entirely new story, right? Like, I think, I mean, obviously it boils down to, do they have this film wrap up in a conclusive bow? Right? Because, I mean, you could argue every I Know What You Did Last Summer film had a cliffhanger ending, right? With Julie's nightmares and stuff, right? First was, with the writing on the mirror, and then, the man jumps through the mirror, and then the other one was where Julie gets dragged under the bed, right? So do they do something like that where it's like a nightmare, or where we think it's a night where it's like, oh, was that a nightmare? Was it not a nightmare? Is that like a Julie incident, right? Or maybe Julie herself like has the nightmare at the end, because we know Julie and Ray are going to be back for this film, right? Like, so I think it really obviously depends on how the film ends itself. But I don't hate the idea of either A, the killer carrying over and surviving, right? We think that they die, or B, you kind of set up that like, oh no, like there's this is just the beginning, right? Like there's more coming, right? And maybe you kind of set up this grandiose type, um, killer, or where it's like, oh no, there's really three of them, right? It's really a whole family. It's a mother, father, and another son, right? Or maybe there's a son and a daughter, right? And then they're going to be the killers in the next film, and they just had to watch their mother and father die, but they didn't want to, because whatever that they have a gun or something like that, and so it's like kind of let's live to fight another day. And now you got the double revenge. Now we're not only taking revenge on our son, our brother, but we're taking revenge on our parents for what you did, and now that kind of becomes a thing for the next film. It's just the thing, like, because if they already have a sequel in mind, in the works, ready to go before this film even came out, right? And we're in the horror era where everything is a sequel and a trilogy, right? That's the new thing. They want to do a new trilogy for every one of these franchises, right? Then they have to have a story that kind of is one kind of continuity story. Probably have a couple ideas of how to like make them connect. Like, yeah, they could do the full circle wrapped in a bow type thing, of course. But I also think that there's with the success of like Halloween, right? And you see like the continuity of like each film it's just one story, right? Like each film, it all ties together. It's not its own individual thing, right? I think that you're going to see more of these franchises kind of follow that suit, because some of these other things have tried to do, other routes, and it just hasn't really worked out. Where it's just like if you have this be just kind of one continued story, you have the hookman show up, right? Everybody thinks like, oh, we got to take out the hookman. You take out the hookman, and then in the end, it's like, ha, I know what you did last summer, or I'll never forget what you did last summer, like written on the window or the mirror or something. And it's like, oh, okay, here it comes, right? Maybe one of the characters actually do get taken out. Right? I'd be all for that, right? Like, let's finally take out a character at the end, and it's not just like a dream, right? So, it depends on the approach that they go, but I really hope that whatever they do, it obviously works, makes sense, and is well executed. But I could see something where the killer ends up, moseying on into the next film and kind of let that bleed in and link into the next film. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel with your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Kind of mixed in the middle. Do you want them to have the killer kind of survive, or just maybe there's another killer that gets established, kind of end on that cliffhanger note? Do you think like, no, like have this be a conclusive movie, maybe do your own thing, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.